I'm Natasha St. Just from St. Tobias J.
This is the Mirte.
This is YJ Stick.
Young Ty. This is your boy Wax and Coat.
Fiji Diamond, man.
And I'm tuned into the session.
At ReJuv'Nation.com. CT stands up.
It's your boy Timeless Trail. You're tuned into the RJN Sessions at ReJuv'Nation.com. Got my lovely co-host A60 Beauty in the house. I'm back at it again with the compliments. A60, you gotta give me some. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
You see, I'm smiling. You got me feeling real good.
That's
you know?
what's up. But we have a special guest host, someone that everyone should know, Miss Lorna Little. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad that we finally got you here because we've been trying to get you for quite some time now.
Yeah, I didn't find out about it until later. I've been around for a while, but when you send me messages in certain places, sometimes it doesn't get to me. But yeah. I'm on it now.
Thank you for blessing us with your presence. But how's your day today? How's everything going?
Everything's going very well. It was a great day, and I'm just glad to be here to have some time to share with you. Yeah. A little information about some of the things that I've done throughout my journey.
I feel like a fan.
That's what I was
right. I feel like someone that's actually watching the show because you're the pinnacle of what I'm trying to be. Like you got some outstanding interviews that a lot of people in the Connecticut area don't even take a heed to, like don't even pay attention to. Yeah. Like let's just jump. Do you have the question today, Jess?
Yes, I have a question today.
What's up?
Actually, I apologize because we both were on the event for DB Racks.
Yes.
For the showcase.
Yes.
And I kept telling myself I'm gonna get up and go over there, but my feet were hurting.
Okay.
So I didn't get a chance, but I was sitting here like I'm so happy to at least be on the piano with her. So sorry about that.
No problem.
But my question of the day, actually, I'm not gonna lie, Zoe actually helped me with the question of the day. Shout out to Zoe.
Shout out to Zoe.
She said, how do you feel about today's society's tendency to sexualize everything and the pressure it puts on young women?
That is something that, I talk about from time to time in different arenas. Obviously, I'm the executive director of a group home for young women, pregnant and parenting young women, and the mother of daughters. And that's something that concerns me because I think what happens is people become desensitized to seeing lots of skin and different sexual encounters on television, the clothing that they're making for children. It sets the tone that women are not much more than their body or the things that they're able to do, sexually. And young girls look up to, you can list all the celebrities and the folks who are kind of number one and number two. And so instead of cultivating the mind and the brain and intelligence and a joy of learning and all of those things, young women are getting the message that you get ahead by looking sexy or being sexy or dressing a certain way. And that shouldn't be what they aspire to be. If you're a grown woman and you decide that you want to dress and look like that, that's a choice that you've made. Right. But it shouldn't be something where it's just so prevalent in our society that it's pressuring young people beyond just looking a certain way, having sexual relations before their time, before they're ready, feeling pressured into doing things because they hear it even on a song or on the radio and everybody's saying it, so everybody must be doing it. Well, guess what? Everybody isn't doing it.
I feel like we're kind of forced, we're not, but when I go out to the mall now and I'm looking for shorts in the mall, all the shorts and rompers are like low cut, like your butt cheeks have to hang out in the shorts, like every store, even for younger kids, like in the juniors department, and I'm just in the store like I can't wear these, but I do see a lot of younger people younger than me wearing these things, and it's like they're forced to do it. They're not even making normal clothes anymore.
And that is the truth, and that's when parents and even young women like yourself have to push back. There was a backlash, I forgot what store it was a while ago, where they came out with thongs for little 8, 9, and 10-year-old girls. The parents went in there to buy, but those parents went in to buy kids their clothing. Of course, the little girls are gonna be like, I want those.
They're in our section.
They're in our section, and so I think we have to push back and say, we're not gonna buy that or we're not gonna support it. And it's not easy, but it's a systematized situation where these designers are doing this intentionally. They're sexualizing the society on a level where it's not necessary, but that's a whole nother story.
I mean, just to piggyback on what both of you just said, I feel like it's just the times you're in. right? Like, so if you look at everything that's going on, everything you see, whether we could take this topic and turn it to rap, we could take this topic and turn it to how you make your money, we could take this topic and turn it to whatever you want, but just society itself, how you were just saying, society is putting that image in our head, like this is what's in, this is what's gonna get you that boyfriend, or this is what's gonna get you this, or this is what's gonna get you that, and it's no longer your mind, it's more your body. And it's sad because I be like on social media and I check it out, and girls really like want to be strippers. Girls really want to have a sex tape like Kim Kardashian. Girls really want to do things like that. And I'm just like, what happened to the
like
times?
I remember when people used to be like, it's disgusting, like
Yeah.
ew, like the stripper is like a stripper, but now people are like looking at them like they're doing like they have a degree or they're
Exactly.
it's
And-
just a mess.
Well, unfortunately, what it is that they're seeing that some of the young women or some of the women who portray that are the ones who appear to have the rich man or the wealthy boyfriend or the rapper or the star or the athlete. And so unfortunately sometimes people, see 2 and 2 and they come up with 5. It's not really that way. And so that's why we have to promote and show other young women and women who are doing well, who are successful and doing well in their own right. Where they used to have that song that, shake your money maker. I used to turn to my kids and say, go ahead and shake your head now because your brain is your money maker. Don't, I mean, that was just my natural reaction because I just felt like, we have to instill in young people that it's beyond that.
I mean, I think it just takes people like ourselves, like you said, people who are conscious of what's going on and actually want to make a change for the better. Not even saying the better because society might flip that on us too, but I don't want matter of fact, I was at work the other day and I seen this girl, she came inside and when I tell you, I kid you not, like half of her cheeks was out and she walked in there so comfortably and I'm like, yo, if I had a daughter like that, she wouldn't have no legs.
That's how I feel. Even like I feel like no one was wearing their stomach out so much like they're doing now. Like everybody's wearing a half a shirt or a 2, like just walking down the street. Like how?
No,
when
you're
did
right.
this happen? Like,
and I hate to say that, some of the women in my age range, I think with the whole issue of, people not eating well and not taking care of themselves, when we were younger, there would be people time to time that would show their stomach, not like it is now, but the women in my age group were like, at least we were in shape.
right.
I'm sorry. I have definitely seen the impact of us not eating well, in the younger generation. So folks are really, exposing themselves, but also not being in shape and exposing themselves. And I'm not talking about being thick or a big woman because there's nothing wrong with that. I'm talking about being healthy and being in shape and not just, letting everything
out.
Everything go.
All right, well, that was a good question. Shout out to Zoe on that one. She got to come up with all the questions.
You don't like my question?
What? I'm just saying.
You know what? I was trying to keep it a little. Sometimes I get a little crazy. I just wanted to.
We got it. Yeah, we got to keep it nice and clean. But so back to Lorna. Now we about to go into the details because I want everyone to know about this.
Okay.
Listen, how did it feel to know that your interview was the intro to Diddy's performance, to the whole like Bad Boy Reunions tour? Like I like, how did that feel seeing your face on there interviewing him and on Notorious B.I.G. R.I.P.?
Well, first of all, I have to be honest that I didn't realize they were going to use that for that.
And tell you.
So I knew they knew about the footage. But what was ironic is that early that morning, I do a lot of different things. I do photography. I did the show for many years, Lorna's Corner. I'm an author, all these different things. But another thing I do as a social worker and as a trainer is facilitation. So that morning, I was getting ready to prepare it in the mindset. I was doing a facilitation for the West Indian Social Club. So I'm in that mode getting ready. And, the young lady who makes the bracelets, Rock Candy, Chawanda, that's what she goes by. She texted me, and I had no idea she was asking me about the concert. I thought she just saw something on YouTube and was asking me. And she said, "By any chance, did you interview Diddy like 20 years ago?"
Yeah.
And I look at the text, and I'm like I said, I'm getting ready. I say, "Yeah, I have," and to put a smiley. Yeah, I did, and put a smiley face and left it alone.
Yeah.
Then like 5 minutes later, she was like, I think you were a part of the opening of the Bad Boy reunion tour. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So then I'm trying to contact people who went because I was planning already to go in Boston. That was my whole plan. I couldn't make it because I had the training for New York. And so then everybody, all my friends are texting whoever went trying to find out. And I was thankful like about halfway through the day, DB Rax must have been there. Obviously, at this point, we know he was and taped it, and it was confirmed. So I was pretty excited. I kind of felt like all the work that I've done over the years that Diddy could have picked any interview.
Right.
He's had many, and he's had some that I'll say were probably even better.
Yeah.
I mean, he had people with massive cameras. You have BET stations. He's done MTV. He's done Yo MTV Raps. And I have to say, shout out to Fab Five Freddy for giving me props and on Facebook to me for seeing that interview in the beginning of the show, because that's somebody who I looked up to was Fab Five Freddy. But you know, he could have picked anyone. And this young lady, Marcy, inboxed me, and she said, when I said that I was kind of surprised, but also pleased, she said, you have to know that Diddy is very methodical and intelligent and picks and looks at everything that he does, you know, down to, and it's true. And it made me think that if he selected that, there was a reason,
Right.
and it wasn't happenstance. It wasn't like, let me just pick this. So that made me feel pretty good. And you know, Alonzo, my cameraman, I have to give him shout out for that, because he was my cameraman there at the pool party. Everyone's like, he didn't have on a shirt. It was a pool party. And you know what? It's funny. You just, the question you asked relates to something then. It's very funny. When I heard that happened and said, I thought about the fact that all those thousands of people in that arena saw that interview. When I got ready to do that interview, it was a pool party. I was a lot younger. I was skinnier, girl. I was in shape then. But yes, but I had on at the time biking shorts were in style, and I had like a crop top on and biking shorts. And right before I did the interview, I said, you know what? I don't think I feel comfortable. Even though I was around the pool, I took that white t-shirt and put it over my clothes. Now, mind you, who knew that in 2016 it would be seen all over?
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In that moment, I took a second and said no, because I don't want it to appear as if I'm talking to Diddy in like a crop top, bra-ish type of
like,
thing.
that's why she had that interview.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
Right.
And that's how, just imagine, my mind was thinking that then, and then look at how that interview got shown then. So sometimes when young women and young men make those wise decisions in those moments, because you never know
when it can come back.
When it could come back. That was and I turned and I said to my husband, I said, do you remember when I had that moment? I said, hold on. And I put it on, and then we started the interview.
That's what's up.
And you know, it's crazy. This is not a little off topic, but I always tell people, like, watch what you post on social media, because it can come back years later. Like when you're talking about sex or whatever, like you never know. And your kids can look at it years from now, and look, your kids are looking.
I mean, perfect example. I don't want to go into the whole thing, but you know, everybody's like, oh, Snapchat, you know, it's gone. It's there for a second. And look at what happened to Carrie Hilson. I don't know if you saw that, you know, video recently. Well, I'll let you see.
What
video
But she, you know, she's always had a great image, and I'm not saying that her image is done, but she had a great image, and she did something playful, but not probably in good taste, and that social media blew up. Something she had a popsicle, and somebody told her to do something with it, and it really wasn't great. And I'm just saying that to say, those quick few seconds changed her image for so many people,
especially with the internet now, because they're saving it. Like it's not like you could just hurry up and get rid of it. People were Snapchat, it took pictures. It's already
and
all
that's
over.
what they did. They made a meme, and it just kept playing and playing. So you know, I'm just saying that's a perfect example of a decision that you make simple, you know, lighthearted, can turn on you. So you really do have to be careful.
Right. I mean, so to jump into, like, first and foremost, how did you even let's talk about Lorna's Corner. How did that start, and how did you even start landing like interviews with the head honchos at that time?
Well, Lorna's Corner was truly just an idea that I had of something that I really wanted to do. I did go to, college, I was a young mom, and I went to college and decided that I wanted to do, media communications. I didn't intend to be interviewing people, though. What I was kind of studying was behind the scenes. And I also majored in psychology. Okay. So I had both interests. I've always had like the social work, psychology side, and then I had the communication side. Honestly, years ago, and that's why I think it's so critical to expose our young people to things. When I was a teenager, and I'll bring it back to there, and that's where the bug came. There was a program, a summer youth employment program. Back then, we used to call it CETA. But it was the summer youth employment program, and all my little friends were getting jobs. They were getting jobs in the office, and some friends were getting jobs in tobacco. Everybody was getting a job. And I was like, well, where's my job? I was supposed to get, a job. And it took forever. It didn't come through. But then when the notice came through to the house, it said, you're going to be working with a group of young people, and you guys are going to make a television show.
Wow. And
I was 14.
Wow.
I was actually 13 at the time.
They had the summer jobs like back then too.
Yeah, they did. I was like 13 years old, so I was like 13, 14, and I was like, okay, like, what do you mean we're going to make a show? I mean, it was a foreign concept. And so we actually had our little setup at the YWCA that's on Broad Street now. The teacher and the person who was in charge of it, Dennis, was a teacher in Enfield, and Miss Mikulski, who actually is a social worker in West Hartford now. And there were several of us, so some of the people still in the city of Hartford living there, that we got together and we learned a little bit about storyboard, just basic stuff. But it was fun. And they ended up making me be the host. They said, you'd be good, so I did. We talked about music, and the name of the show was Off the Wall. We did it for those like 6 weeks, and that was it. And that's all I thought of it. It was just something I did. It was I got paid. So check it out. I got paid for TV as a young person. So I was excited, but I thought that was it. And for me, that's a sign of how God will plant something in your life when you don't even understand fully what that is. So then I always still had a little interest in that. But like I said, I've always been, I think, a natural social worker. I was the person that wants to mend everything for everybody, build the bridges, everybody wants to ask me for advice. So I had both of those things. But when I went to college, I pursued both, but not thinking along the lines of that I'm going to have a show. It was like, I like this. But the reason I brought in the fact that I was a young mom is that you have to make decisions in life when you have made decisions. And I knew what it would take to go and be like a television person on like the news, they move around and you get internships. And I had a child, and that wasn't what I was going to do. I was going to stay and raise my child, which meant that I didn't have that opportunity. I actually wanted to go to Emerson College. But because of that choice that I made, which I don't regret, I said I had to stay home, so I went to Central, and that's where I got my degree. So anyway, when I get out of school, that little bug is still there. So I'm doing my social work psychology piece, but I feel like, wow, I still have an interest in that. You don't just show up at Channel 3 and those places and be like, here, I'm here, hire me. So I decided, you know what, let's create our own thing. And that's the type of mindset and the type of person I guess I've always been, is that, if it's not in existence or you can't go to get it from somebody else, you do your own thing. And people thought I was a little crazy. You gonna do what? Yes, I'm gonna create a television show. I remember thinking about the name, and it was like, okay, what do I want to call the show? And I was like, Lorna's Corner, because I'm going to do things all around, and it's going to be my corner, and I'm changing the dynamics of the corner, because the corner usually had a negative connotation, negative things going on in the corner. I said, no, this corner is a corner where positivity resides. And so that was the whole concept behind it. And so then we started doing it as a talk show. We got down to Hartford Public Access. It was Hartford Community TV back then. And we went down there, you had to go through the whole production thing, did that, and started producing a show. We did a talk segment a few times, and then I was like, you know what, I really want to reach the young people. And one of the things that I know will get their attention is music and artists and entertainers.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really about the entertainers. It was about the fact that I knew I would have my conversation, because I talk about stopping the violence. I talk about teen pregnancy. I talk about all of that on the show.
Yeah.
Unity in our community. But I noticed, okay, let me get some folks on here to have in between, and that would draw folks. And it worked.
Yeah.
And so I started Third Base. Some of the first interviews I had, I don't know if you remember the group Third Base, around the time, and they had the duel with MC Hammer, and there was all this stuff going on.
Well, we didn't have social. Well, you guys didn't have social media. Like, so
No.
how did you reach out to them?
So, good old fashioned contact. That's one thing that I was blessed and had ability to reach out to the record labels and actually, reach out to their people, their management. And it got to the point where they started reaching out to me. So when artists were in the area, or they would invite us, we got invited to New York, we got invited to all these different places to go to different premieres and different events. But when they would come in the area, their people would contact us. They would say, so-and-so's coming in town 2 days from now. Do you think you could do an interview with them? And most of the time I said yes. There were times when, I had my schedule didn't work out, but we'd make arrangements. And so we built a brand from, think about it. You have, actually one of the intros that I still have somewhere where KRS-One is saying, you have BET, MTV, you've got Lorna's Corner. They put us on that level, even though, we're like, hey, we're just like 3, 4, 5 folks, some great volunteers. We're doing the best we can. And they're putting us on that level. We bought our own equipment. Yes, we used the station equipment initially, but we went out and purchased our own cameras. It's not like today where you can go and use your cell phone or buy a camera for like $1,000. Back then it was pretty expensive. So we invested in our future.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about the money for us in terms of looking to gain money. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong today, honestly. People want to get on because I want to be famous. I want to make all this money.
Yeah.
We were in it initially and honestly to make a difference in the lives of the people that were watching. We had fun doing it. We made great connections, but it wasn't about money. And I think that's why it came back around full circle with that tour for being on Diddy's tour, because he saw that it was genuine. Because even though he only showed a clip of the interview, one of the things that he said in the interview that wasn't shown was thank you to shows and people like you who are out here helping share what we're trying to do and not in it for that level.
Right.
So for me, to get from there to there and to talk to different people. Ruby Dee and Ozzie Davis, it wasn't just music artists. That was really special to me, for them to talk about the whole time where, he eulogized Malcolm X and talk about the civil rights movement. KRS-One, I think I've had like 4 interviews with him, and just all different levels. One, when he had that album came out, Sex and Violence, I was a little mad because he was always so positive. But then when I had a chance to talk to him about it, he was trying to play, it was a play on words, but also looking at the culture. Yeah. And so my journalistic wasn't always like, ooh, you're so great and you're wonderful. And, it's like, let me ask you some questions, because I didn't understand, this album titled Sex and Violence, but we were able to have that kind of dialogue. Guru from Gangstar, we had a really good interview. We interviewed him twice. And funny, the young man that was with him at the time is called Big Suge. And not little, Big Suge. And he's an actor now, and he's acting on all kinds of shows. I saw him recently, and so I've seen people evolve. Tribe Called Quest. Look at Q-Tip. He's a curator at a museum now, and he still does music. And people have passed on. Phife Dawg. And we have really good conversations more than once. Some of the shows are uploaded and some aren't, because some of them we just have that we've been able to keep and just kind of keep as our own memories, but we also don't have the time to upload some of these things. All of this stuff takes a lot of time. We moved from those big 3/4 inch U-matic tapes to now, everything's on DVD and now the digital files. But, it was an experience every time we had a connection with someone, and to have the kind of respect that, allowed us to be able to have people calling a little show from, Hartford, Connecticut,
Right.
LL Cool J's, people calling and say LL Cool J's coming down, can you connect with him? And I mean, and him being such a humble and respectful person during the interview, that young man, he's not as young anymore. We're closer in age, but he was always a little younger than me. He's very intelligent.
Yeah.
He was always thinking ahead.
Right.
Always thinking ahead. Right. And, I'll Run DMC,
Yeah.
one of that's one of the things I was really proud of. And I know you haven't asked this, but just saying that, Mum's the Word, my book that I wrote, he wrote the foreword for the book. Daryl McDaniels from Run DMC. He wrote the foreword for the book. So, just connecting with people in different levels and just thankful for every opportunity, every blessing. But sometimes you have to make it happen,
Yeah.
You just have to make it happen. And it's harder now. One of the things a young lady came and asked me recently, she was like, I really want to do this. Same thing you're saying, I really want to do this. I have this bug, I really want to be in this industry. And she's doing it. Mm-hmm. But she wants to know how to get to the next level. And I said, there's two sides to it right now. It's difficult to be able to make it now, not impossible. There's so much more available to you. Like I said, you can do a show with a cell phone now.
Yeah.
You
Right.
really can. If you get a high quality cell phone, you could edit, you can do it all.
Yeah.
Throw it on YouTube.
You can throw it on YouTube.
Right.
So that's the positive. So people are becoming stars overnight like that. The negative is that same thing.
Yeah.
It's so much easier and so much more accessible that you have 3,000 people out there trying to do the same thing.
Right.
So you need to figure out what it is that's going to make you different from the rest of the, 2,000, 99 people. What is it that's going to make you different?
Right.
And that's the key that I think people miss. It's not that you stop trying, and it's not that you're not authentic, because you can't just try to be something just because you're trying to get on. Because people can read fakeness.
Right.
Inauthenticity is like, and I was always myself. I was always me, and that's one of the reasons I ended the show after 10 years, because when I started seeing that the music had started changing to the point that I could not stand behind some of the songs and some of the lyrics and some of the things that they were saying, I'm like, I'm not going to do this in this way.
Yeah.
I
That's
can't
real.
stand up here
That's real
and
for real.
I'm going to be me and be Lorna Little and say I'm, about positivity. My corner is going to be a positive place. And every other word is this,
Yeah.
and you be, and you H, and you a hoe, and da-da. I can't stand behind that and say I am who I am.
Right.
So that's when I started saying, okay, I switched kind of gears, and I had this segment that I kind of called Positively Lorna's Corner, because I was trying to differentiate and trying to really show people I'm only talking to people that are positive. I'm only dealing with people that are doing positive things.
Yeah.
And so then I would only do specials, because when I used to get videos that would come in, I'd search through them, and at one point, you have this many that weren't that great and, kind of negative vibe, and then you'd have all these positive. You have your Public Enemies and your KRS-Ones and all the other people, and then there's the fun dance people, the Heavy D's, and, all of those people. And then next thing you know, by the end of the time frame, the stack of the negative and the violent and the cussing and all the carrying on was this high, and the positive was this high. That was my sign that it was time to let that part of it go.
I mean, so now that part is closed, and what a career that was, by the way. Like I said, applause to you. I mean, at the end of the day,
And we had a great team. I have to say, we have a great team. I didn't do it by myself. I just want to make sure I say that. Alonzo is the cameraman, the station folks. I have a whole list of people, that I don't want to name some because I don't want to miss anybody. But I do want to say that our whole crew, they know who they are.
Yeah.
They were really down with us, and we went all over with them.
right. So shout out to my bro Ace is working. I shout this dude out like every episode, I think. But me and him, that's who actually told me about you. He was like, yo, bro, the way that you going, he's like, yo, you sound kind of like Lorna's Corner. I'm like, yo, who is that? And he was like, yo, you don't know who Lorna's Corner is? He was like, you don't know who Lorna Little is? He was like, yo, you need to do your research. And he always tells me all the time, yo, do your research, do your research, do your research.
That's critical.
And
Not about me, but what he's telling you is critical. Because one thing I could say about the authenticity, when people would come on, it wouldn't be about me having to read a bio.
Yeah.
Not that you don't do that.
Right.
It would be that I knew who they were. I knew about them. And I could ask them things. I remember asking MC Light something that, like, if you didn't know and care about her and her music, you wouldn't even know to ask, because there was a little rumor back then that she was married to this guy, Todd One. Now, that wasn't in a paper. You wouldn't read that in a bio. So I was like, you know, and that was the big question. Like you said, there wasn't social media, but there was some things that they had on, you know, faxes online, things like that. But I said, you know, MC Light, so is it true that you're married to Todd One? And she looked kind of like, but you had to know that artist and know what was going on in the culture and know to even ask that. So one thing I will tell you, do your research. Know the music, know the songs, know the artists. People feel like you're taking it serious if you do your background. If you kind of just come in, it's nice to ask them and it be kind of spontaneous because you're learning as you go along, but they don't take you as credible. I'm just gonna tell you.
Right. But so we was talking, and he was just like, yo, you gotta get her on the show. Like, do your research and call me back and let me know what you find. So every time he tell me to do something, I do it. So I did the research. I'm like, yo, she is lit. She's dope. And then the crazy thing happened. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna try to get her on the show. And then we might have attempted, but we didn't go through. And then the reunion popped up, and he called me. He's like, yo, bro, I told you you should have got her on the show. Now so look. Funny. He was like, now look, now you need to get on the show, right? So shout out to my bro Ace is working with that. But so that part is close, and now we got you in the current Lorna.
Yes.
So what's going on currently?
Well, currently is a combination of things. I've been a social worker for many years, and for the past 12 years, I've been the executive director of St. Agnes Group Home for Young Women and Children. Okay. And the young women come to us, they're already pregnant, and we're assisting them they live at the home with their babies. They come pregnant most of the time. Every now and then they may have just had the baby, and we're teaching them parenting skills. We're helping them be the best parents they can be. We just had 3 high school graduates, so we're very proud of that. I always explain to people that we're not promoting teen pregnancy. They come to us pregnant, and we believe that is very important to help them be the best parents they can be, because at the end of the day, we want them to be solid citizens. We want their children to be healthy. We want them to be successful. So I've been putting my, life's blood work in that, because it's developing people. But the funny thing about it is still telling stories in a way, because people say, they look at all the different things I do, but there's a thread that runs through it. So whether it's, doing the show and getting people to share and trying to talk about positive things, whether it's working in a group home and working with the young moms and trying to help them better their lives, I love to inspire. Another thing that I've done recently is motivational speaking. Nice. I've gone all around. I just came back from South Carolina, where I was the keynote speaker for the South Carolina campaign to prevent teen pregnancy. I spoke at the 100 Women of Color event. I spoke at the Adoption Council event last week. So that's something I'm doing because I really enjoy that. And doing that on a whole nother level is with my book. Nice. I could have put out, a lot of people thought I was going to put out a book about all the celebrity doings, a tell-all. Even though I do know some things, I'll keep to myself. But it was more important to me to put out some work that's going to make a difference with people in their heart and what's going on in their lives. And I've had so many people share with me that, reading the story has made an impact on their life in a way for the positive. So once again, it's all, the thread is still there. And I just was blessed, like I said, to have DMC do the foreword and Victoria Rao. You all are maybe too young to remember Drusilla from Young and the Restless.
I remember Young and the Restless.
But exactly. she also wrote here. And so, it's been a blessing to be able to do that. And photography, if you go to the lornascorner.com site, you see I do a lot of event photography. I slowed down with it because it's just become a bit much. But I enjoy photography, and that's the same mindset that started with the show. It wasn't like I had this big training as a photographer. I got a camera. I started taking pictures. I got better and better and better. And then people like hire me to do photos. I don't have the time as much. But from time to time, I'll pick an event and I'll say, okay, I'll do it.
That's nice. So, I mean, so ultimately, you're still a curator of like the entertainment realm. Like, you might be dibbling dabbling everything else, but it's crazy how like everything, like you said, is kind of connecting together.
Yes.
So like, yo, that's what's up, man. I'm kind of speechless right now, honestly. I've never been speechless on the show, right? I'm always got something to say. It's really like I'm looking at like a mentor. You know what I mean?
I feel motivated.
Real, like,
you just
really
told us
though.
that you're a motivational speaker, but I can look at you and see and feel it. Like,
yeah, like you can.
so
like
just
you
imagine
can,
if we did
right?
go watch her speak.
Like, cause everything you're saying, I just be feeling that because you was like, yo, I just woke up one day like, this is what I want to do, and I did it, and that's literally what I did at ReJuv'Nation. Like, I woke up one day, and I had a couple.
Awesome.
I had a couple people. I'm like, yo, let's do this.
And the thing is, you have to. What I will give you that I learned that I wish I had somebody to guide me even stronger, because honestly I didn't have really anybody around. Like, nobody was doing that. You had the people on the national level, and you know, I had people like on television like Gayle King. She was always supportive, and we still stay connected to this day. But there was no one doing a show in that way.
Were there any radio?
There wasn't
any
really,
radio stations?
The radio was very different then. I mean, what you see now, we had some, you know, we had 89.9 and we had some other local stations. But, you know, 93 and those stations weren't up and running then. I mean, really, someone said that online on my page the other day, you know, Lorna's Corner was kind of it for a while. But what I will say is that while you're doing this and you're learning and you're reaching, have a clear plan of where you want to go.
Girl, right.
You really need to think about what is your ultimate end game. You know, what is it that you want? Do you want to do this for 10 years or 8 years? And, you know, as long as you're, you know, learning and connecting with people and getting yourself out there, is that what you want? Or do you want to do this so you can build up your skill to go get hired somewhere else? You know, you really need to think that through. Don't let it be something that you're just kind of, you know, coasting along. Because honestly, our show and what we did could have been on such a higher level if probably we had made certain moves. But like I said, we weren't in it for certain reasons, and we kept it authentic. So I don't regret that, but it would have been nice maybe to have somebody around to be able to say, guess what? If you possibly think about doing A, B, and C, this can make this difference. And then you choose, and then you decide. I think that was the difference, but there really wasn't a forerunner. There wasn't anybody before to be able to really, you know, show us the way, so to speak. So I'm glad that you appreciate what I'm saying, because you know, I love to inspire. I want to see people get to the next level. A lot of people have this thing where they want to hold everything for themselves, and you know, it's all competitive and you know, cutthroat, and I can't share information with you because you know what? We all need to get together and go ahead. Right. Because there's enough space for all of us.
You know what? I'm going to say this. Shout out to Charles, because we don't give you enough credit. I feel that way about him. Because even this weekend, he called me and we were going back and forth a little bit. And he could have just been like, no, whatever. But he's like, you know what? We're going to go with it. We're going to try it. Like, he's definitely not about himself. He makes sure everyone's involved. And I feel that way about Charles.
I be trying.
See, that's what it's about. That's all right.
I mean, at the end of the day, because my thing is this, like, I want everyone to win. You know what I mean? I want the whole of CT to win. I want the whole world to win, honestly. But at the end of the day, we're in CT right now, so we got to control CT. That's right. And as much as I want CT to win, I want my team to win. So whether it's my man Chris, aka Jordan Rio right here, whether it's A60 Beauty, whether it's Zoe, whether it's Lisa, whether it's Mac Boney, whether it's Sax Fifth, whether it's Sax Fifth, whether it's Aces Working,
that's passion.
Whether,
that's just passion.
Whether it's HWD, whether it's Quinn, whether it's Annoyed, whether it's Mike Flows, whatever it is, I want everyone to win, man. Seriously, because at the end of the day, when everyone wins, CT is winning. You know what I'm saying? And we got so much negativity.
We put Connecticut on the map. People would say that all the time back in the day, that we put Connecticut on the map because there wasn't as much radio.
Right.
It's different now.
Right.
You know, we didn't have big stations with people coming in. We had stations, and I respect them. 89.3 RTC was there. College station. You know, we had WQTQ. So they were there, and they were respected. But having the powerhouse stations with the big dollars and the money and the budgets and promotions and bringing concerts and all of that, we didn't have that then. And I got to say, Zoe's like family. So I got to say Zoe's family.
Shout out to Zoe. But before we wrap it up, is there anything that people like in the community can do to help you with your projects now? Like, we understand Lunar Corners, then now we realize what you're doing now, whether it's your book, whether it's your group home, your motivational speaker, getting you out. Like, is there anything anyone can do to help?
Well, especially in this environment, in this where we are, I mean, I have a lot of footage.
Yeah.
I have a lot of footage. So if there's some people that have editing skills, that have interest in transferring or putting things together safely now, because I kill you if you tear up my stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Jokingly, I'm saying that. But seriously, I have so much stuff that people are like, I put up an interview. I don't even know if you knew about this group, The Far Side. People love The Far Side. They were a specialty kind of niche group. They were like a alternative hip hop. And I put up one part of the interview, and I keep having people on YouTube saying, where's part two? Where's part two? I don't have time. We really don't have time. So if there are people out there who are interested and talented and have real skill that want to take some footage and put stuff together and put up, I'm willing to, you know, have them work with us and do that, because otherwise, you know, some of that will die. We just haven't had the time. So, you know, people keep saying to me, oh, you know, you should do a documentary, you should do this, you should do that. We'll see where all of that goes. But, you know, the book is on Amazon.com. Those people who like to read by Kindle, you know, who don't like the hardcover book, you know, that's available on Amazon. Lorna'sCorner.com. You can find out anything you need to know about me. And, you know, the group home, we have so many people in the community that support in so many ways. A lot of people think that people of color, and I'll say black people, are not giving or not philanthropists, because we have this vision that, you know, only certain people have money, or, you know, wealthy people. There are a lot of people who are wealthy that are black, and there are also people who aren't, but they give.
Right.
You know, they give. You have $10, they'll give you one, but that's a sacrifice. You know, so there are a lot of people who give to the home. They bring gently used clothing for the babies. They come and drop off. They say, you know what, I may not have money, but I'll come and try to volunteer. We've had young men that come and say, you know, can we do some cleanup outside? So I'm thankful for everybody in the community that has done things for St. Agnes Home. I'm thankful for all the thousands of people who purchased my book. I'm thankful for everybody who watched the show and the wonderful comments that I received after people found out about, you know, the Diddy. I mean, really nice. I mean, you know, Ashan and all those people.
Did the Boston one come up already? Did you
No,
go?
September. It's in
Okay.
September. I'm looking. I'm gonna be excited about that one. Yeah, that's gonna be cool. So we got plans for that one. Let's just say.
I feel like you might make an entrance on the stage. I don't know.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna say nothing crazy.
Be behind Lil Kim. I don't know about that. Although I said that on the radio the other day when I was on Hot 93.7. I said I'm gonna make sure that I see him and say, "Puffy, hold me down, baby."
So
That's what I was gonna say. Did you end up reaching again?
We're working on that right now. We're working on that actually right now. That's why.
So before we wrap it up, I always have my guests come on here and they it's just a quote, something you live by, whether you're back against the wall, whether you're having a great day, whatever it is that to keep you going. Is there a certain quote that you live by?
Oh wow, there's a lot of them. I just think, you know, in terms of a quote, there's a couple. One, I would say protect your reputation at all costs. That's one thing I believe in. Make choices that support a positive reputation.
Right.
I also think, though, for me, God is important in my life. You know, everybody has their different faith belief, but if you really sit and think about the fact that I said I wanted to do a show, I did a show, and the miraculousness of all that happened between that, the book, and different things I've had in my life, and the journey that I've been through, there's no way. If you think about that, somebody that started out as a teen mom,
Right.
Married, her child's father. We've been married for 30 years coming up this year.
Congratulations.
Whoa.
Congratulations.
And just the different things that I've gone through, to me, all things are possible through Christ Jesus. That's all I can say.
Wait, can we go back real fast
Yeah,
to when you said protect your reputation?
Yes.
So when you say that, sometimes you have other people trying to bash your character and stuff like that, but you want to protect it. So you think that you should fight back and say stuff, or should you
wow.
be quiet?
Wow, that's so funny. That's so relevant because I see stuff going on Facebook with the same type of thing. You know what? You protect your reputation by the choices that you make.
Right.
I don't think you need to go back and forth with people and this one said I did this or this one said I did that, because you know what, they drawing you into their negativity and that negative energy, and it's tempting,
Right.
because you want to say, wait a minute, that's a lie.
Me.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's just like now, if somebody said, oh, I saw Lorna on the corner out there standing out with her skirt all up here and doing all crazy stuff, nobody's gonna believe that.
Right.
You live your life in a way that whatever it is you want to portray, they say, oh, I know that's a lie.
Right.
Yeah.
And if they're a grown person and they want to know, they're gonna come and call you and say, guess what, is this real or is this true? Not out of gossip, but just to give you the respect of asking.
Right.
And if they don't do that, then you don't need to worry about them anyway.
Right.
Woo.
All right.
And that's a fact, Jack. So with that, Lorna, thank you so much for coming out. We greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It's your
Thank you
boy.
for having me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you both for all your production and your good questions all of you had. Thank you.
We out here working, man. Before we end, I want to send a special shout out to all the fans and the people that watch our show, that comment, that subscribe, that share, that like. I really appreciate all y'all, man. For real, like, I love when I'm in the community and someone comes up and like, y'all watch this show. That means so much to me, because that just means that we're taking another step in the right direction. One person viewed is another person gained, and at the end of the day, we're trying to make a positive impact out here. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. If you have any feedback, let us know. You know what I mean? And with that, it's your boy Timeless Trail here with A60 Beauty. Lorna Little, thank you again for coming out. Lorna's Corner, shout out to her. Get that book, please. Mum's the Word on Amazon. And you're tuned into the RJN Sessions at ReJuv'Nation.com.
Seeing my ultimate remedy for my chemistry. Looking at my sky high rise like I'm a Kennedy. Falling straight to my memory, I still got it. In the pool of stripes, I'm calling they pocket. I'm at their door for water, only way niggas can knock it. A lot of rappers trying to find their fixer, but they didn't know I've been simming them down. It's like a sixer, see that big picture out of my frame. I drive by your rhymes just out of my lane. You